You ever look at someone who just seems to have it all figured out? You know the type, the perfect career, the undeniable independence, the great social standing. But then you realize that right beneath the surface, they're actually wrestling with this profound sense of emptiness. Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore that exact paradox. We're looking at a fascinating cultural mirror today, tracing the journey of the modern woman from a really groundbreaking 1980s American play all the way to contemporary Bollywood cinema. It's an incredible journey all about the tension between outward professional success and internal emotional isolation.
So, does societal progress actually guarantee personal happiness? I mean, it's the ultimate modern dilemma, right? We are constantly taught that if we just follow all the rules for success, break those glass ceilings, and secure our independence, then happiness is just going to be this automatic reward waiting for us at the finish line. But is it? Okay, let's dive into this by stepping back to 1988, to Wendy Wasserstein's landmark feminist play, The Heidi Chronicles. See, this play isn't just about one woman. It captures an entire generation trying to balance their newfound independence with the deep, very human need for emotional connection.
The structure of the play literally tracks alongside American social transformation. Growing up in the 1960s and 70s during second-wave feminism, Heidi is surrounded by a time vibrating with the promise of liberation, equality, and literally limitless opportunity. But then, by the 1980s, the reality kind of shifts. Heidi actually achieves the professional success that the movement fought so hard for, yet she finds herself totally emotionally isolated and disconnected. The historical backdrop here is absolutely crucial. Wasserstein uses it to show us exactly how massive political and social movements just crash right into our very private individual lives.
So who exactly is Heidi Holland? Well, on paper, she is an absolute triumph. She's an educated, independent, and highly successful art historian. But beneath that polished exterior, she constantly struggles with loneliness and this creeping feeling that something essential is just missing. What really makes this play a masterpiece is that Wasserstein completely refuses to reduce Heidi to a simple, one-dimensional stereotype. She isn't entirely triumphant, but she's not completely defeated either. She's living in the emotional ambiguity that so many of us experience today, caught right in the tension between what society expects her to feel and what she actually feels.
And this brilliantly illustrates her internal world when we look at the interactions she has with the people she surrounds herself with. For instance, when Heidi seeks emotional refuge with Peter, her gay pediatrician friend, she finds deep understanding and true companionship, but it's not a complete cure for her profound loneliness. And then, when she engages with Scoop, this really ambitious journalist, she basically hits a brick wall of traditional male ambition and, frankly, intellectual arrogance. The crucial takeaway here is that neither of these relationships fully resolves her modern isolation. Wasserstein is showing us that even among our closest friends and lovers, genuine connection remains incredibly difficult to achieve when it's all tangled up in ambition and shifting social roles.
All of this tension, it builds to a highly emotional climax in the play, Heidi's famous speech. In it, she just unleashes her immense frustration over feeling this hollow emotional emptiness, despite years of real intellectual and social progress. It's a deeply powerful moment in literature. Why? Because it completely strips away the politics. It exposes the raw human vulnerability that is so often hidden beneath our grand political ideals and our feminist achievements. It asks a really hard question. What good is all this progress if we still go to sleep feeling completely alone?
Let's move to and see how this builds in our next section, the cinematic reflection, finding Heidi in Bollywood.
Leaping forward in time and halfway across the world, we see the exact same struggle build into something entirely unexpected. The landscape has changed, the culture is totally different, but the internal search for meaning is identical. Take Kyra from the 2016 Bollywood film Dear Zindagi. While Heidi broke barriers in 80s academia, Kyra represents a very modern definition of success. She has creative independence as a cinematographer, she's socially modern, and she's navigating this incredibly fast-paced life. Outwardly, they both embody progress for their respective eras, but inwardly, they are fighting the exact same battle. Kyra struggles with failed relationships, emotional dissatisfaction, and a deep sense of incompleteness. The definition of success evolved from breaking 80s glass ceilings to achieving modern creative freedom, but the shared internal struggle for self-understanding hasn't changed a bit.
These parallel stories force us to confront what we can call the cost of independence. It's the sheer difficulty of maintaining authentic human relationships and finding emotional stability, despite outward progress. And, this matters to all of us today. How often do we assume that getting that promotion or reaching that big career milestone will just act as a magic wand for our happiness? Both the play and the film aggressively challenge that assumption, focusing our attention on the real emotional toll that modern independence can take. We're seeing this theme expanding across other genres as well. Take a recent film like Jigra, for example. Even though it's much more action-oriented, it heavily features a female protagonist who has to navigate intense emotional vulnerability right alongside immense strength and heavy responsibility. Contemporary Bollywood is increasingly moving away from those one-dimensional figures and instead portraying women as psychologically layered individuals. It's a direct thematic continuation of Wasserstein's literary portrayal of Heidi, showing us that you can be incredibly strong yet deeply vulnerable at the exact same time.
And if we expand the lens even further to the film Kol Ge Hum Kahan, the struggle becomes deeply recognizable to our current digital age. Back in the 80s, Heidi felt pressured to perform intellectual confidence. Today, the pressure is all about curating and performing our identities via our careers and social media. We are dealing with profound urban loneliness. We're constantly weighing social expectations against the desire for authentic emotional connection. Both Wasserstein's play and this modern film are asking us a tough question. In a society that constantly encourages us to perform and construct a perfect version of ourselves, is genuine emotional connection even possible anymore?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how both the literature and the films choose to resolve this. Or, actually, scratch that, how they choose not to resolve it. Neither the Heidi Chronicles nor these contemporary films offer a neat, tidy fairy tale ending. There's no straightforward fix. Instead, they embrace the ambiguity of postmodern life. They tell us that identity and happiness are not fixed achievements that you just unlock and keep forever. They're constantly evolving. You don't just win at life and stop growing. The search for meaning is a continuous evolution. And frankly, there's a lot of realism and comfort in that open-endedness. Which brings us to our final thought today. We've seen how from 1980s New York to modern-day Mumbai, the story remains remarkably the same. We are all searching for meaning, belonging, and emotional authenticity well beyond just our resumes. So I'll leave you with this question. If societal progress and outward achievements don't automatically guarantee fulfillment, what does your true, uncurated success actually look like? When you strip away the performance, what makes you feel connected? Take some time to think about that today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring those big questions.